Okay, moms with nonverbal or non-speaking kiddos who all you want to do is hear them speak or hear what's going on in their head, or you just want to hear mama, listen to this video and hit save, because I'm going to kind of give a lot of information, but hopefully it's helpful. So let's dive through it. Every single child that is nonverbal, non-speaking, or has some diagnosis is as unique as a fingerprint. Everybody has a different root cause or different neurology or different brain mapping, or whatever the case is. It's different in every single child. But what is the same in every child is that we are all created with cells. And all cells have mitochondria to have the energy to do the job that they need to do. And speaking is a very high energy task. So a lot of the times in all of these children, despite the differences of what their biology is, their mitochondria are struggling to create enough energy to make the connections in the brain to then also perceive, to also create the muscle movement, the tongue movement at the same time as the thought wanting to come out, is a very high functioning process. If the body is busy handling other things like a toxic overload, like an underlying infection, like a lot of inflammation, a lot of oxidative stress, which is what happens, the body is going to put speech on the back burner. Okay, so there are 3 foundations that I always talk about with our health with these kids. I talk about it in my free guide that's up in my link, so go grab that. It'll outline what I'm talking about here. But the 3 foundations are the nervous system, primitive reflexes, and cellular health, which I'm mainly talking about right now, the cellular health, because if the mitochondria, which is part of every single cell, is compromised, these high functioning tasks are not going to happen. Without going really deep into the 3 foundations, if you think about speech, it could be structural, right? Like there could be one side of the brain is stronger than the other. There's a problem with the actual connection from one side to the other. Talking about the primitive reflexes within the pattern of growing up and hitting milestones and things like that. If there was something missed, that is going to affect the growth of the brain, the firing and the wiring of the brain. And then you have the cellular health, which we've already talked about. So there's lots of things that you could do, for the nervous system regulation. You could see a network chiropractor. For the primitive reflexes, you can see a therapist who specializes in primitive reflexes. There's lots you could do for cellular health, which also then affects the nervous system and the primitive reflexes. But cellular health, obviously, you want to get a lot of sunshine. You want to be eating whole foods as much as we can. Movement. Gosh, there's so much we could do to lower inflammation, right? Which can be really difficult with kids who are picky eaters. I understand all of that. So if we can address the underlying cause, like if it's mold, right? Like obviously we have to get out of a moldy environment if your child is greatly being affected by mold. But otherwise, if we can work on creating healthier cells by supporting the body's pathways that make these cells, that make mitochondria, that make antioxidants to reduce inflammation, to increase the production of glutathione, which is our master antioxidant and our master detoxer. These kids have difficulty detoxing. If we can help the body work like a more well-oiled machine, then we can take away that burden that the body's working on, that's too busy working on, and we could create healthier, stronger, and more mitochondria so that they can have the energy to make these connections, so that the brain can do the thing that it needs to do, so that the gut lining can do what it needs to do, so that it can heal a little bit better, so that the body as a whole, right? We have cells everywhere. If we could create healthier cells, our cells could do the job that they need to do, and your kiddo can start to speak. And I'm going to put up today anyway in my stories, I'm going to put testimonials of when we can create these kids to have healthier cells, that their brain starts to fire and wire, and then speech can follow. which is really incredible. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. Grab my free guide, comment below where you are at in your journey. Like, what have you tried? What have you not tried? And then my guide will talk about this, but I also have immune modulators in the link in my bio that literally do the things I'm talking about. That increases the body's production of antioxidants, which therefore decreases the oxidative stress in the body, increases glutathione production by 300%. This is completely natural. I took it pregnant. My kids started at 1. You can't take too much. You can't take too little. It's not going to interact with the things that they're already taking. But both of those immune modulators do these things that I'm talking about by supporting the body the way that it already is. So write your questions below. Let me know where you're at in your journey. And I really hope this helps.